everyone, my name is Sama and welcome to Spirit-Led Guidance. My period is kicking my butt this week, so I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. Also, I recently found out that I need between 9 and 10 hours of sleep to feel fully rested, which sounds so entitled, like who is going to give me 9 and 10 hours to fully rest? Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about something that affects all of us, but specifically and especially those of us who are like really empathetic and sensitive, and we often take on the caretaking roles, and that is just how we tend to want others to be happy in order for us to feel happy. And this is just a very natural byproduct of like our ability to pick up on others' feelings, like especially their negative feelings. It directly affects us, right? Like we want to feel safe and secure and happy in our environment, and when someone is not in that same place, then it can basically, their happiness is our happiness, you know? It's really important for us to not make anyone else's happiness our own, and when we are able to detach ourselves from other people's moods, their own life experiences that they're going through, it's actually really healthy for relationships as well. So this kind of bounces off my other video on people pleasing, where I said that it also negatively impacts your relationships. So I'm here to say the same thing, but this time about taking responsibility for nobody but yourself. When we're in that fix-it role, like we want to be fix-it Felix and go ahead and just make everyone else happy, probably because we have the wisdom and the life experience and the expertise to do so. What ends up happening is that people become dependent on us because we're not letting them fight their own battles. And of course, we start to develop resentment because it's like, man, how am I supposed to live my life if you can't get your shit together, And really, our mood, like for us as caretakers, it needs to be completely independent of what's going on over there. Of course, it's very important to be compassionate and sensitive to others, especially when they're going through difficult times. However, we can't just sit in that compassionate state to the point where we lose sight of how we're feeling, like our own inner world, right? We don't want to get that all mixed up and jumbled up with the other person's inner world. We're both going to become lost at sea. Like neither of us are going to be able to problem solve effectively, to have clear thinking, to be open to solutions when we're both drowning in either our own pain or someone else's, right? So yes, it is a very important skill to be able to sit in someone else's pain within a relationship to help them feel supported and seen and understood and valued. However, at some point, we have to say, you know what? I believe in them to figure this out on their own. And all I can do is support, like I can be a listening ear. If they want advice, if they ask for advice, I'm here to give it. But I need to take care of my own happiness. Recently, this happened to me. Someone's going through a hard time, someone I really love and care about. And so their happiness definitely has an impact on my happiness. Like I want to see them succeed. There came a point where I was like, you know what? There's only so much I can do for this person. Like they need to figure it out on their own, right? And then it was really important for me to be like, okay, what can I do to get back to my state of happiness? Like, what can I do now to, indulge in self-care or whatever, like go do an activity or something that I enjoy doing that has nothing to do with this person that will help me feel better. Their thing is what's bringing me down, but I have the power and the ability to bring myself up so that I'm back to neutral ground. And by doing that, it was really nice because I was all of a sudden like, I'm not putting the burden on the person going through their struggles to make me happy, because it really is nobody else's responsibility to make you happy. I also want to mention like the toxic side of being so invested in someone else's happiness, health, success, whatever. We start to do this, some of us start to do this thing where we say like, oh, only if so-and-so did this, I would finally be happy. Like only if this person fixed their eating habits, or if only this person gave up drinking alcohol, then I would finally be happy. These could be very valid concerns that you have for the other person, and obviously it comes from a place of love. Like you want the other person, let's say in the example of changing their eating habits, or you want them to exercise, or you want them to take care of themselves more, then of course that comes from a place of love. Like you want them to live a happy life. However, it shouldn't be this like condition in your mind for you to be happy. that is super not good. It's only going to harm you because change comes from within. People have to feel motivated by themselves to make positive changes in their life. And if you're waiting on that to happen, how is that going to help you? It's never going to make it better for you when you're trying to seek your own happiness. And then what ends up happening is you become a nag, or you become really annoying for that other person, even though you're saying it for their own good. If that person's not willing to make the changes that they need for what you consider to be their own happiness, I highly suggest that you leave it to God and just to be like, you know what, God, like, if these are my complaints about so-and-so, like whether they're your romantic partner or a family member or someone you live with or are in close contact with. If something about them is bothering you, but it's not something that like you are responsible for, like you're not responsible for people's lifestyle choices, right? So just give it to God and be like, hey God, this is bothering me. Like, please let me let go. Like, help me to let go of this. And if it's your will, inspire that person. Strike them with lightning so that they're inspired to make this change or whatever. I'm joking. Don't say that in your prayer. That's rude. But you know what I mean, right? Like, it's not your job, okay? It's not your job to tell the other person what they need to do to make their life better, because that's also coming from, like, your limited perspective, right? Like, you don't know what's best for them. You think you know what's best for them. People have their own journey. They got to figure that stuff out on their own. Otherwise, it's not going to actually help them grow. You're actually going to stunt them if you keep feeding them what you think is best for them. When you're in a caretaker role, this thing tends to happen, okay? Where people come to you because you're an excellent caretaker and you are wise. As we all know, I'm 100% sure you understand this if you are in this category. People take advantage of that and like they sort of start to depend on you, like you become their crutch. So it's like every time they have a problem or a meltdown or a freak out, it's like they just come to you and it's your job to fix it. And we don't want to create that sort of dependency, right, in our relationships. We're happy to help when we see someone who needs help, but it shouldn't be like this person is now losing their ability to stand on their own 2 feet and figure out what's right for them. And I think it's actually very difficult for us as caretakers when like someone is dependent on us. We feel obligated. We even do it out of love, right? Like we feel like, yes, I do. Of course I want to help you. Like, why would I just sit here and watch you suffer? But we do have to draw the line where it's like, I can empathize with you to a certain extent. And now I am going to, if you need advice or because you don't know how to proceed or whatever, like here it is, but like that's it. I'm going to go take care of myself now. And the great benefit of this is if you are able to detach yourself and then bring up your own mood and just be happy and satisfied in your own life, you become a role model for this person down here and you help them to elevate their mood too. And that could just purely be through distraction, right? Like if you're like happy and joking and laughing, then they're going to forget about their problems. They're going to elevate their mood and you never know. They may be able to gain some insight or inspiration all on their own just because you've helped them to come to like a happier neutral ground. I just think it's really important. Like I especially seem to be just like this fountain of relief and like pain relief for other people in my life. And of course, I'm happy to do so and be that. But I've also learned to even forget about, telling them to go figure it out yourself. Like I say that we should do that, but it's very hard. Like I struggle with that personally. But even as I'm helping them, I have started very recently to kind of think about my own mood. Like, that's their mood. They're not doing well right now, but that doesn't mean that I have to not do well. I can also take care of myself. So I've had this experience quite recently. So I just want to share that with you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm going to go lie in the fetal position in bed. Why is being a woman so hard? Anyways, thank you so much. I will see you guys next week. Bye!